Good evening and welcome to Immigration Live with Lee. I am your host, Attorney Lee Marvin. Today is Groundhog Day, which is February 2nd, 2026, and I am here tonight yet again to provide information, context, explanation, expertise in the field of immigration law. I've been doing these Immigration Live broadcasts for some time, and I'm on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. So if you're joining me for the first time, welcome. If you are a repeat joiner, I welcome you back to the show. Whenever I have people joining me, um, I always like to ask for individuals to provide their location information. Tell me where you're joining me from so that I can do a shout out to you. And I appreciate you all for joining me. A lot going on, as always, in immigration. Um, and it relates largely to each administration that comes along. Right now, we're in the second years of the second term of President Trump. And there's a lot of things happening regularly. We got a friend joining us from Illinois. Thank you kindly for joining from Illinois. Appreciate it very much. Drag, I know you've been on here many times, so I appreciate you uh, joining in every week or whenever you're able to. Appreciate it very much. So there's a lot going on. The largest bunch of questions I've been getting from people um, relates to the government shutdown now. Okay. So, greetings from South Carolina. Thank you, uh, Francisco Barron, um, for joining from South Carolina. You do have a question, so go ahead and post your question, and I will get to it as soon as I see it and I can time it right. Hello, my friend joining from New York. I'll put you up there too. Um, okay, it's kind of lost in my banner there, but thank you for joining from New York. Okay. So again, I invite those of you who are joining me to go ahead and post your questions in the chat, whether you're joining from Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. Please go ahead and put your question in the chat so I can get to it. Appreciate it very much. It makes it interesting for everyone. So it's not just an answer for you, but for other people that probably have the same question. So go ahead and post that when you can. Um, and Yusuf, thank you for joining. I see you here as well. Appreciate it very much. So what I was saying is there's a lot of bans, there's a lot of bars, there's a lot of pauses, but there's also government shutdowns that we're dealing with. We have a partial government shutdown. We're in the third day of the partial government shutdown. It shut down Saturday. Today's Monday. So it has been shut down partially since Saturday. What does that mean for us, for immigration? Well, it means a number of things. Um, it means that there's some things that are on pause, some things that are continuing to move forward. The things that are moving forward are border security, um, aspects of ICE. Ironically, the whole shutdown is related to the problem that everybody is having with this administration and how they're handling immigration enforcement, ICE, immigration customs enforcement. So the partial shutdown is because of that. There's a number of people in the government that want some changes to come because they don't like what they're seeing. So that is what the government shutdown, partial shutdown is all about. And I was reading here earlier, um, border border patrol security detention operations are continuing. Um, some immigration court proceedings are suspended or will be rescheduled. There's different things related to business visas that are on pause. Some consular services or the embassies are going to experience a little bit of delay and pauses for certain types of processes. But USCIS which is funded by filing fees, aren't going to see much of a change at all. Things are going to continue as usual because of all those hefty fees that they pay. It keeps them in operations, which is good for us because that is the part of the government immigration that we like to deal with, meaning it's the part of the government that actually allows us to move forward for our loved ones and family. Okay, so that's what that partial government shutdown is all about. So let me get to some of these questions here, folks. And let's see if I can post it on here. Let's see here, 1 second. Okay, so Yusuf, you're asking about sponsorship for, and you can't really see it there. I'm gonna have to tweak that. I'm using a new platform tonight, and I'm testing it out. I can read it, but I'm gonna have to change this up a little bit. But anyway, so how much is required to sponsor a spouse for the I-130? Is it enough to have $30,000? So yeah, $30,000, Yusuf, is enough. So I believe the threshold is lower than that. If I'm not mistaken, it's around $24,000. So if you make more than that, then you will be able to sponsor your spouse or another family member without the need to bring in a co-sponsor. Some of these things need to be tweaked down the line. It depends on how many years of solid taxes you have at that rate. So that could change. But again, if you have questions, you can always book a time to talk to me. And as I say here, I'm trying to fix, I'm tweaking some things here. Okay, Instagram, you're up and running. I got to report that I was not broadcasting, but I am broadcasting there now. So welcome, Instagram. I'm sorry it took me a little bit of time to get to you guys. If you have questions, please post them in the chat. Welcome to Immigration Live with Lee. Appreciate it very much. So, okay, so that's the question. Again, for those of you on Instagram that are just joining, because I just figured out how to connect it. Today is day 3 of the partial immigrant, the government shutdown that is affecting immigration, different aspects of immigration. So it's not affecting most of the benefit-based parts, which is the things within USCIS is not affecting, but things at the consulate. So interviews overseas are kind of being delayed, but it is having an impact from the partial government shutdown, which is definitely directly, absolutely related to the problem that is happening with immigration enforcement and the heavy-handed way the government is enforcing immigration law these days. I'm going to get to some more questions here. Okay. So we got a friend joining us, Canadian in Michigan. So thank you very much for joining. Let me see here. Let's see. You're a Canadian legal resident. You just applied for a re-entry permit. Because again, let's see here. Let's see. You did biometrics and went back to Toronto to finish your university for 2 years. You're born in Syria, so your I-131 is probably paused. Thoughts? Well, one thought I have beyond that question is for everyone to tell me where you're joining from. I already asked Facebook and YouTube, Instagram. Let me know where you're joining me from so I can get a shout out for you and get a sense of where people are and what sort of questions that might be coming geographically. So let me know where you're joining me from on Instagram. So let me think about this. Okay, so Munther, there's a lot to this. Okay, you have your re-entry permit. If you did not apply for your permission to travel for longer than 6 months, then that might be a problem for you. As a legal permanent resident, you are only allowed to go for 6 months at a time unless you get the pre-approval um, to travel longer. The reentry permit, that's one of the ways that people describe that. Um, so if you've had that and you've gone back and forth, if you've been gone for 2 years, as long as immigration signed off on that, then you're going to be fine, whether you're born in Syria or not. If you are Canadian legal permanent resident, I think that you probably we're going to be okay with that. You're Canadian legal permanent resident in Michigan, just apply for a reentry permit, did biometrics, went back to Toronto, finished university, read it again. So this Munther is a little complicated. I'm gonna maybe need a little bit more facts, but those are my thoughts. While I'm thinking of it, let me go ahead and put the link on here for those of you who need to book a time to talk to me. If this live doesn't do it for you, then you can always use this link to book a time to reach me directly so I can help you figure out your situation. A lot of do-it-yourselfers with immigration these days, which is absolutely insanity to me when you have such a heavy-handed administration, that there's still a lot of people, tons of people trying to navigate this crazy system under the most difficult era of immigration probably ever. I would encourage you to not do it. If you don't reach out to me, whatever, reach out to someone who does this, a reputable immigration attorney. Don't fly it alone, and don't pick someone who's going to take your money and not answer the call again when you call. So that's all I'll say about that for now. Let me quick go over to Instagram to see lots of people join from Instagram. See if there's anyone who told me where they're joining from, because that's what I always liked to have here. I have a question here. Cloudfur, is it safe to travel with a green card? Yeah, 100%. Assuming you don't have any criminal background that creates issues for your exit and reentry. So as a legal permanent resident, yeah, you have the right to travel internationally as long as you're not gone for more than 6 months. You know the drill. But if you have a criminal background, depending on what that background is, it might not be a good idea to travel. So that's why I put the link in the chat for you to reach out if you have more specific questions related to your status or your history, okay? Okay, so Cloudfur, right, you're joined from New Jersey. Thank you, New Jersey. So if your country of origin is with the 75 pause countries, there's no issue for you at all. The pause for those 75 countries relates to immigrant visas, green cards. People trying now to get green cards is who that 75 country pause is all about. So otherwise, if you already have your green card, you're absolutely fine. You can travel, no issues. Again, unless you have a background with a criminal history that complicates the scenario a little bit, okay? If you do, reach out to me by using the link. Okay, well, you don't have criminal background. I see that now, okay? So you're good to go. If anyone does, they have a similar question, they have criminal background, click the link, book a time to talk to me, because you don't want to be doing this and testing the waters if you don't know what is going to happen depending on your history, okay? So thank you for that. I'm going to go back over to YouTube. Lots of friends on YouTube. Let's see here. Let me read this quickly. So here's a question about the USCIS page is still off. I'm trying to check my process status, and we're saying it's not working. Interesting. This is for our friend here at Fruit Decoration Company. I'm going to look right now because I'm on and it works fine. So let me type in something 45. Yes, it works absolutely perfectly for me. Fruit Decoration Company. So I don't know what you're doing, but what I'm doing works fine. It's good to go. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Okay. Here's a really good question. Okay. We're getting a lot more of these questions these days because of the current administration. You had high misdemeanor before you got your green card. You got your green card successfully. You reported everything immigration. They were okay with it. Then you became U.S. citizen, super okay with it. Everything was disclosed. They didn't deny your naturalization, and they didn't take your green card and try to deport you. Is it safe to leave the country for a trip? Yes, absolutely. It is safe, but that doesn't mean that you might not get questioned, aka secondary inspection, when you return to the United States. Um, it usually doesn't happen to U.S. citizens, or historically didn't happen, but things are a little bit weird now. Um, Keep that blue passport with you, okay? If you are a U.S. citizen, they don't need to be asking you anything about your immigration history. If you're a legal resident, totally different. U.S. citizen, you might not want to say things in an aggressive way, but you can tell the government to go pound sand, right? Because they don't have the right to ask you questions like that. Okay, so I hope that helps, um, and I wish you happy travels. Okay, let's see here. Francisco Barron, my friend. Um, I'm not sure where you're joining me from, but here's your question. Your sister went to the consul when she was 18 for a V2 visa and got approved. Her attorney is saying she's going to get barred for leaving the US. They did not say anything to her when she got approved. I don't know what a V2 is. I don't know what that is. B1, B2, but a V is in Victoria or Victor. I don't know what visa that is. Her attorney is saying she's going to get barred for leaving the U.S. So I don't know, Francisco. I need more information. I don't know what sort of visa that is. Okay, I don't know if that's a special type of visa. That I don't work with regularly. So if you can put that information on there, or there's always the ability to book a time to talk directly to me, and that's either you or your sister. Again, if you're joining, tell me where you're joining from. If you haven't subscribed, now, do it. Okay, subscribe and appreciate it very much. It helps me reach other people. People, are swamping the chat most Mondays for good information, because they know that I will provide as much context and explanation as I'm able to in the half hour that I dedicate to this program. But if you subscribe and you get notified of lots of videos that I have on YouTube, and you can tell your friends about me, just like Batman says. Okay, so let me see here. Quick over to Instagram. Let's see here. From Minnesota, thank you, Marvelous from Minnesota. Do I advise to file I-751 right away if a husband committed battery and you're separated? If your husband committed battery against you or someone else, those are two different questions. So that is a complicated situation. So generally speaking, if somebody asks me a question, should I file a removal of condition on my legal permanent residency as soon as I had the legal right to do so? 100% you do. Okay. Now, in Maryland, it's no different than any other state. I don't know how the state laws are in Maryland relating to domestic disputes. They might be more serious than others, but that process is complicated because you basically are supposed to be supporting your husband's removal conditions. So if you are separated and about ready to get divorced, that does complicate things. This is a sort of conversation that I would recommend somebody book a time to talk to me about, because there's different things that can come up that I'm not going to be able to adequately address on here. And I'm not giving any legal advice as it relates to the domestic stuff, but immigration, if you have your husband reach out to me, I can guide him or you if you want to book that time as well. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. Okay. So here's a good question, and I've been getting this a lot since the 75 country pause went into effect. Is the K1 visa, fiance visa, a part of that pause? No, it is not. The K1 visa is separate. It's close to an immigrant visa, but it's not an immigrant visa. So the fiance visa is still moving forward. You can get that approved, enter the United States, and then file for a green card inside the United States. That is not affected by the pause. If you need assistance, again, that link is here in the chat. I go ahead and reach out to me if you need to. Hello, Patty. Thank you for joining. Happy beginning of the month to you too. Groundhog Day. If you guys don't know what that is, look it up. It's the 2nd of February. Tells us if we're going to have 6 more weeks of disgusting winter, which apparently we are. But what can you do about it? So happy to see you, Patty, and thank you for joining regularly. Okay, let's see here. And let me see. Let me go back over to Facebook and Instagram. Okay, here's a question. If someone has been here in Michigan for 20 years, what's the likelihood of them becoming a citizen? Well, it's either 0 or 100%. Being in the Michigan for 20 years is not really relevant unless you're here with the right status. For example, legal permanent residency. That's the path to a green card. I'm sorry, that's the path to citizenship. You can't become a U.S. citizen without first being a legal permanent resident. So it's not relevant whether you've been here for 20 years. It's relevant whether you are here in the United States legally with a legal permanent residency. And 20 years is definitely helpful because you have to be at least 5 years to be able to apply for naturalization. If you have more questions, please use the link that I posted below or above. I don't know where it is in the context of here. Look at the bottom of the screen as well, because that's my web address and that's the phone number if you wanted to reach directly to my office, my staff for assistance, okay? Okay, let's see. And Surefire, I don't give pricing information out on the lives because the context is very difficult. So I ask you to book a time to talk to me or my staff so I can figure out how to help you, your fiance, move forward with your process, okay? Let's see here. Okay, I already answered that question. Okay. So shout out to Martha from Maryland. Okay. Martha from Maryland. Here's your question here. I'm gonna post that here. Do I advise filing the removal condition process if you just got approved for your green card recently? Your husband is abusive. I'm sincerely sorry to hear that. That's inexcusable. But the problem is you cannot remove your conditions until you're coming up on your 2-year anniversary of your green card. Technically, 6 months before that 2-year period, that's when you're allowed to remove conditions. You can't do it any sooner than that. You have to wait. But I've helped people in your situation before, and I've had raving success with getting their full 10-year green card when they're in a bad situation with their sponsor. I can definitely help you with that. When the time is right, you can reach out. We can give you information, and then we can help you track that so we can help you apply for that and get it approved as quickly as possible when that anniversary is coming up. Okay, so reach out, use the link below. Okay, let's see here. So here's drag and drag. Okay, how easy is it to do a change of address? It's pretty easy. If your case is pending, you can definitely do that. You don't need an account. Um, I think it's quicker. The push is by the immigration to have people have their online account to do those things. It doesn't take much to do it. So I would recommend setting up that account. Um, but otherwise, there's forms, paper form that you can do to submit to have them change, and you could even call them. I believe you could update your address that way as well. So it's not difficult to do. If you can't figure it out, you can always reach out directly to me or my staff, and we will help you. Drag and drag. Thank you. Okay, 1 second here. Okay. Okay. I don't have any advice on this, but I'm going to post it up here. Your stepdaughter got her visa approved in December. 1 second here. Okay. Okay. From the Dominican Republic. She hasn't received her passport yet. So you got to give your passport to get the visa. I get that. It's been 2 weeks. I would call the embassy, and I would not stop bothering them until they gave her an answer on that. It's her property, but sometimes it takes time, especially with this partial shutdown. It probably will affect that time. I get that doesn't explain the last 2 weeks, but moving forward, it might be a delay because of that partial shutdown too. So keep that in mind. Yeah, okay. So drag and drag. As I'm thinking about this, I believe you probably do need that account to do it. So I'm glad I recommend that you sign up for one. If you don't, it's easy, it doesn't cost anything. So drag and drag, sign up for that account to do that address change. I've done it for clients a lot in the past without the online account, but it takes longer. Just go ahead and sign up for that account, okay? Okay. So I'm going to answer this question, and then I'm going to go back to Instagram. So good evening. 75 countries that were paused. More than one person went in their interview date they had, and they got denied already. Jamaica. Okay, so thank you for that update. Sorry to hear that, but I will say that that might not be related to the pause, because the pause just means that they're not going to approve. But if somebody's denied, then it could be related to other things and probably not the pause. Not being approved is different than being denied. So not being approved is a byproduct of this pause, but being denied probably relates to the filing and the history there. So, but thank you for that update from Jamaica. Let's see here. Okay, Samuel. That's a good question. Diversity visas. I don't know the answer to that. I haven't researched that yet. Okay, so the question is regarding the suspension of immigrant visas. So the 75 country pause, will this remain in effect permanently? No, it won't. That's going to be a temporary thing. I'm hoping it will be lifted in the next several months. I can't see it lasting even the rest of the Trump administration, but will it be lifted specifically for diversity visa lottery? I don't have an answer. I don't know if they would. I think probably not, because it's an immigrant visa. Whether you get it through the diversity visa lottery or not, it's still an immigrant visa. So I believe that that will remain part of the pause, and you'll have to wait as well. Okay. Okay. So, my friend, I know you've joined us many weeks in a row, and I thank you for that. So, Rahulson, um, so yeah, class action lawsuit, right? Suing the Trump administration and immigration for the 75 country pause. What do I think about it? I think it's great, right? I think it's great because I have lots of clients and even family that potentially are affected by the pause. Um, will the judge block the lawsuit? If that's what you're asking, I think it will move forward. I think that this is a moving target. I think that there's probably very good cause from a government standpoint for this pause. If there's evidence that can show that the Trump administration can show that people from these 75 countries has had a significant negative impact on the American taxpayers and public assistance, then I think the chances are very good that they will be able to continue. I think that this probably will be litigated. So I'll be very interested in seeing what happens, as everyone else will be as well. Um, okay. Okay. So I'm going to check Instagram here. I'm past my time, but I wanted to see if there's any quick ones that I could get to. No, the whole process. Okay. Uh, okay. So, yeah, I don't have an answer to this. There's a question on Instagram about N-400, so naturalization process for Iranian nationals. When is the government going to start processing those? That is a very good question. I don't have an answer. I haven't done research lately to see what sort of ongoing issues the government is vocalizing about Iran. So I don't have anything intelligent to say on the matter. But I do want to give a shout out to Tia. Tia Mable, hola, buenas noches, te quiero mucho. I don't know when that's going to start up again. So I can't help you, but I will provide information as I get updates, of course, and I will put them on the live. I will say, very good participation tonight. I really appreciate everyone watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm here every Monday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time or Detroit time for Immigration Live with Lee. Save your questions. Save them for next week. I'm out of time for tonight. I've got some things that I have to wrap up. But again, I will see you next Monday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget to subscribe and check out all my other videos on my YouTube channel. Have a wonderful night.